Welcome to the program. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. All right, so the liberals are back from their vacation. You know, it's amazing to me. Liberals don't like Christmas, right? They've been trying to do away with Christmas. They call us colonizers. They take off on Thanksgiving, which is honoring those great colonizers, our great pilgrims.
Yeah.
New Year's is even Christian because it's a Christian holiday, but they've all taken off all this time. Now they're all back, and they've been in hibernation. They've had all their Trump derangement syndrome building up. They haven't been able to spew their Trump hate, and they're back all over television and online and everywhere else with their Trump derangement syndrome out there. And there's, a lot of it. I want to start, though, with The View. On The View, today they were talking about Trump being taken off the ballots in Maine and Colorado. And of course, that is not going to be upheld. Trump did not take part in an insurrection against the government. He was cleared and found not guilty in a trial. A lot of people don't realize this, but the second impeachment was for January 6th, and the Senate is a trial, and he was acquitted in that trial, President Trump. So he was acquitted in the Senate trial, okay? So and so it goes on and on. Trump does not need any defense. But Joy Behar did that old saying the quiet part out loud yet again. And The View, the Monday through Thursday is almost always live on The View. And when things are live, you never know what's going to happen, especially when you're angry. And she's always angry, Joy Behar. So this is, I'll just play this clip. This is the discussion of them talking about Trump off the ballot and what the Supreme Court will do and should do.
I would say here is that I actually agree with Governor Gavin Newsom and David Axelrod. These are Democrats, leading Democrats, that say this would really cause a division that's almost insurmountable. And as someone that believes January 6th was that bad, wait one second.
So what are you saying?
Wait, just 1 second. I don't think the Supreme Court's going to hold this. I think they're going to overturn it, and it won't just be the originalists. I bet it's a 9-0 vote. I actually don't think they will hold this.
So you think they should leave it to the voters or not?
I think they should leave it to the voters, but I think that...
Okay. So a couple things about this now. So you think we should leave this to the voters? And yes. Oh, no, Joy Behar says.
She's a typical liberal snob.
And this is how you save democracy, by taking, people's vote
But Trump's
away.
Anti-democratic, but that's what she just said right there.
Yeah.
Is completely against democracy.
Correct. And the thing about the Democrats, okay, I mean, this is beautiful. This is right out of George Orwell's 1984, where they changed the meaning of words. Right?
Right.
War is peace, peace is war, all that kind of stuff. 2 + 2 is 3, it's 4, right? Now, just to make sure my math's not too good.
Yeah.
But, okay. But they're changing the meaning of things. Oh no, you can't leave it up to the voters. That's absolutely astounding to me that Joy Behar thinks that's perfectly normal to say.
Oh, they all think that. Well, the Sarah girl doesn't. At least she's got a brain in her head.
Yeah, well, they'll recondition her today. But Joy Behar, that's on national television. It's one thing for her to say something so stupid in her New York, Manhattan elitist wine parties. It's a whole nother thing to say it on national television on ABC. The View is part of ABC News. They're under the ABC News division of ABC because they talk about politics and stuff. They moved it to that a few years back. And to her and to the audience, that seems perfectly normal. You think the voters should decide? Yes. Oh, no. We can't let the voters decide. And because Democrats think they know better than you.
Yep.
And Joy Behar is everything negative about liberal elitist, right? Liberal elitist who from New York City who think they know much better than the people.
Liberal women are the most dangerous thing to our democracy.
That's right.
That we have.
I don't know why that is, but it's true.
It's true. They lead with their emotions, which a lot of women do. They're very radicalized and feel they have to make amends for all kinds of things for some reason. And they have an elitist, liberals all have an elitist attitude, most of them.
Yeah.
But the one girl's right. It will create division. It'll make Trump an even bigger martyr and a bigger folk hero. It won't hold up. And this is what the liberals are realizing, that that if they keep him off the ballot, and I said this to you the other day, it will go to the Supreme Court and it will not hold. Then they have nowhere to go. That's it. That's a big blow to them. That's like a death blow because that's all they've been talking about. That's all they've been hoping, dreaming. And they know that this court, maybe they've talked to people that are aides or assistants or whatever, who knows. But they seemingly, for the most part, know that this will be overturned, that will not hold up because he's never been convicted of anything.
He's been acquitted.
And I think they're realizing this, and I think they've really most of them are coming to the realization that there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
That Trump, this is a train they can't stop. And maybe they're thinking now is, well, let's just see what happens,
right.
and then we'll be done with it in 4 years, and maybe we should have just,
And not only that, Joy Behar knows
there's like a level of acceptance that seems to be going on with some liberals.
Joy Behar knows Trump's going to win in November. He's going to win, and that's why they can't let the voters decide. That's why she's, oh no, you can't let the voters decide.
Yeah, because the voters are going to choose him.
I wonder.
That's very telling.
How does she process that in her mind? That you can't let the voters decide, that we liberal elitists must decide.
Well, she has a very small mind, so it doesn't take much.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to blame it on age, but it's not age. She's just liberal.
Just a snob. She's just a liberal snob.
Liberal elitist snob.
Who lives in her bubble, and she's very wealthy and hangs out with celebrities, and
she works 4 or 5 hours a week.
She's stupid. So, like you said, she said the quiet part out loud because she's too dumb to keep her big mouth shut.
And, the thing about Joy Behar, she's supposed to be the comedian on the panel. I never hear her tell a joke or say anything funny. She's always angry and just saying nasty things.
Yep.
All right, now, the southern border, of course, we're talking a lot about that. And there's been a new spin on the border. Mayorkas, the Republicans in the House, are beginning the impeachment process against Mayorkas. It's only taken forever. But Mayorkas was on MSNBC today, and he's talking about the border crisis that they have created, and who he blames for it is rather interesting. This is Mayorkas, the Homeland Security Secretary on MSNBC today.
Let me identify one fundamental problem here, and that is the fact that we have one governor in the state of Texas who is refusing to cooperate with other governors and other local officials and coordinate efforts to address a challenge that our country, which this country should stand united to address, that our country is facing. And it's a remarkable failure of governance to refuse to cooperate with one's fellow local and state officials.
Okay. So Mayorkas, and the mayor of Chicago was doing this too over the weekend, but Mayorkas, he's blaming Governor Greg Abbott for the crisis at the border. The Democrats are in charge of the border. They've completely opened it up. They've told them to come here. They set them up with free everything and free lives.
They know exactly what they're doing.
And they blame Abbott for it publicly like this. Like he is the one who's opened up the border.
Because liberals never take responsibility. All they do is blame other people. There's a simple solution. You close the border. That's it. And they have told us it's been closed for years now, and they've been lying. They've been lying. And they can no longer lie because we see what's happening.
Yeah.
And now they got to do the blame game.
Well, when I hear Mayorkas do that, it tells me that everything that Greg Abbott has been doing has worked. When Greg Abbott first started sending the first buses of illegals out of state, the media were laughing at him. Oh, it's just a busload. It's just 40 people. And he has turned public opinion nationwide of liberal public opinion against the open borders.
I wonder if that was his idea or if that was Trump's idea.
Maybe a mix, yeah.
I mean, they're friends. What about him? I would like to see Abbott as the VP.
I think he'd be great.
I don't know why people don't like him, but this move he's done with the illegals, like you said, it has changed the public opinion on this drastically. Because people a lot of times don't react to something unless they're dealing with it themselves.
Exactly.
Directly. They see it more as an abstract. Mm-hmm. And when it actually happens, and now it's starting to filter into the suburbs from the cities, and when it actually happens in their own backyard, like these liberals in Manhattan and Chicago and all this stuff, then they start to care.
Yeah.
And then they start to change their mind because they're dealing with it now. And so I think that was one of the smartest political moves ever. And I'm telling you, I think him and Trump, I like Kristi Noem, but I think him and Trump would make a good team.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you? I think he'd make a really good VP for him.
The biggest problem that Trump has to deal with is the border from day one, right?
Yeah, that's why he'd be good at it. He would put him totally in charge of it.
And if he had Greg Abbott as his vice president, appointed him as the border czar immediately, and sent him down there to do what has to be done, it would expedite everything.
Within a week, it'd be closed and they'd be deporting everybody.
Absolutely. Now, I want to tell you guys, before we get on to our next topic, because there's a lot going on in the news today, we today put on our guest bed the new MyPillow Percale sheets. Now, the
very nice.
The Percale sheets are just $24.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. These are the newest sheets from Mike Lindell. They're not the 100% Giza cotton dream sheets. We have those in our master bedroom, but on our guest bed, we got a new bed for our daughter when she visits. We got these Percale sheets because Mike Lindell's talking about how great they are. We wanted to try them out, so we ordered a set of them.
I like them.
And we are actually broadcasting the podcast here from our guest bedroom, and Kathy is sitting on the bed with the Percale sheets, and I'm in a chair next to the bed, rubbing my hand over them, and they are nice.
They are nice.
They are really nice, and the mattress we have how thick is this mattress?
12 inches.
Okay, we got a 12-inch mattress, and we have the MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0.
Yep.
On top of that. Okay, and the bottom sheet fit on perfectly and effortlessly, as did the top sheet. And these sheets,
you're talking 15 inches there of having to cover.
And these Percale sheets are amazing. I one night over the weekend or something, I might sleep in here just to sleep in them one night. But just when I made the bed, I could tell how great and how soft they are. And as I'm touching them, they like these new things that Mike Lindell's been doing. They keep you the perfect body temperature. I don't know what it's something that he's doing with the materials and such.
I think it's the way they're woven.
Maybe, but it's really nice and comfortable. It's a chilly day here in Florida by Florida standards. And my hand I have under the sheets is the perfect temperature. And we got the white ones for the guest bed, and they feel very soft and everything else. So the Percale sheets for MyPillow are awesome, and they're just $24.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Remember, you can use our promo code on all the specials at MyPillow.com, and when you do that, of course, you are supporting all of our content. Yeah, so
These remind me of the sheet, real quick. These remind me of the kind of sheets. I remember in the 70s, my mom would hang the sheets on the outside in the sun, and they would have they would be soft, and they even describe this on the website as this, but still have like a crispy, fresh, crispy. That's the word they use. It's not like crunchy, but like a fresh crisp.
Yeah.
That's how these sheets are.
They're amazing.
They're
absolutely amazing.
It just reminds me of these sheets when I was a kid that my mom would dry outside in the sunshine.
You have to get some more of these.
But they're really just
they're pretty awesome. So
really
use our
nice.
promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and when you do that, of course, you're supporting the show. Okay, so I like Greg Abbott as VP. There's whoever Trump picks, I'm going to support. Okay. And
I don't like Vivek.
And
that would be bad.
I don't like him either, but I'd support it.
He wouldn't bring anything to the table.
But Greg Abbott brings expertise.
Absolutely.
And President Trump, he made an announcement today, okay? And we are 12 days away from the Iowa caucus. Donald Trump today vowed to shift massive proportions of law enforcement to immigration enforcement and said he will use a Federalist era to remove suspected gang members and drug dealers from the country.
Good.
Trump has been stepping up events in the final weeks before the Iowa caucus. He was talking about the southern border and said that he's going to use a 225 – this is going to freak out the left.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to use a 225-year-old law that Franklin Roosevelt used to remove thousands of Japanese and Germans during the Second World War. He also says he's going to cancel every Biden policy that has caused the catastrophe at the southern border of historic proportions. Yeah, and they're going to call him, a Nazi and all this stuff when he does it, but it has to be done. We have tens of millions of illegals that have come here during Biden's time so far. And this last year, of the Biden regime, they're going to up it. We're going to have the largest number of illegal immigrants coming to the country this year probably than ever. And it's got to be done. I saw this report. It's all over Twitter. It was from Fox. And they had a reporter at the line that you wait in New York City to get your free housing voucher, because everyone in New York that has free housing, it's expired.
Jeez, it's incredible.
And so you have to get it renewed. The line was like miles long, and it was filled with Americans, New Yorkers, but it was also filled with illegals. And these New Yorkers, these Americans that are in line, you could tell they're just fuming with rage.
I don't blame them.
That they have to wait in line with people that are in this country illegally that are being given free housing.
If Trump continues with this talk on the border and his plans, again, this to me is the main issue of this election. That inflation's important too, but Trump can fix that like that. The border is, to me, the main issue this time. I know it was a big thing in the first time he ran, but it's so much worse now, and everybody sees what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. You know, when my great grandparents came here from Sicily, and your great grandparents and stuff came from Europe and stuff, from Greece and stuff. You heard stories of people coming over. I had $50 or $10 in my pocket and this and that. They came over here, and my great grandfather came in through Canada, through New York, and then my great grandmother came over through Ellis Island. And he worked in boat yards. Then he worked in a coal mine. Giuseppe Frecci, that was my great-grandfather. And he didn't get a handout when he came here. They didn't give handouts back then. They checked you for lice. They changed his name to Joseph Fretch from Giuseppe Frecci. That he Americanized his name. And you talked about how your grandmother didn't speak Greek.
Well, and then back then there was no Section 8 housing or social welfare.
No, I'm saying they weren't given
no
food stamps. They weren't given anything. He came over here and worked from day one and built a family and a life without any handouts. The government didn't pay for anything. And my grandmother spoke very little Italian because he wanted his kids to be American. And I remember asking my grandmother, because her parents didn't speak English. And I said, do you speak Italian? She's not really, a little bit, but she said, my father wanted me to know English and learn English and read English. And I'm American. And that's why she was born here in 1903. So it was a very different feel than what you have now. Now you have people coming with, they don't even ask for things. It's just given to them now.
Yeah,
it's like an understood. They don't even have to ask.
No, just
they
assumed.
give them everything that we're paying for. And like you said, working Americans that are entitled to certain benefits are having to go to the back of the line now and wait longer, or maybe not get what they need, which is what our tax dollars are used for, to help people.
Exactly.
It's a mess.
Exactly. Now, one last thing I want to mention, going back to The View, I had forgotten, I wanted to mention this, is when the girl was saying that she thinks it's going to be a 9-0 decision to keep Trump on the ballot, I wouldn't hold my breath on that, but she said not just the originalist, the Democrats too. And what she says by that, these Democrats are sick. An originalist is a Supreme Court justice who believes that the Constitution is relevant. It's our Constitution.
Oh, well, imagine that.
The ones that aren't originalists are the liberals who just make up their own Constitution, right? Because they think by the way, there's not an original Constitution. There's only one United States Constitution. So when they say originalist, there are those who support the Constitution, the one and only, and then there's these liberals who, in their mind, have their own Constitution that they go by, and that's a really twisted way to look at things. Now we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's so much more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Dubai is a city known for its luxury and grandeur. It offers tax-free real estate transactions. And Victory Star Real Estate has property to fit every budget and to make your dreams come true in the dazzling city of Dubai. Buying property with Victory Star Real Estate has never been easier. Whether you're looking for a smart investment, a vacation home in paradise, or planning to make Dubai your full-time residence, Victory Star Real Estate has you covered. Imagine yourself in a luxurious villa, cozy apartment, or spacious office spaces. Victory Victory Star Real Estate have it all. They're your go-to real estate agency in Dubai. They're dedicated to helping you find your dream home or property in the most desirable locations across Dubai. With an extensive network of properties and a team of experienced professionals, Victory Star Real Estate deliver exceptional service exceeding your expectations, and they'll match you with the perfect property to fit your unique needs. Visit VictoryStarRealEstate.com or email at VictoryStarRealEstate@gmail.com for inquiries. Don't miss the chance to make Dubai your new home. Victory Star Real Estate, where your property dreams in Dubai become a reality. Don't wait. Go right now to VictoryStarRealEstate.com. Are you a freedom lover, a family person, a foodie, or just someone who enjoys a good story and a good time? Then add Coffee Table Chronicles to your podcast playlist. Hosted by husband and wife team Keith and Lindsay, they discuss the latest in politics, movies, history. No topic is off limits. They give their personal opinions on everything, and opposing opinions are welcome too. Coffee Table Chronicles is your go-to podcast for engaging, spirited discussions, the holidays, animals, survival tips, and the everyday joys and challenges of life. It's all there. This is a conversation and community you want to be a part of. Coffee Table Chronicles is on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Start listening right now. Coffee Table Chronicles with host Keith and Lindsay. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can listen too. Add Coffee Table Chronicles with Keith and Lindsay to your podcast playlist right now. Parents and grandparents, are you looking for a toy that your children will love that'll spark their curiosity and make them laugh? Then order the Sensing Crawling Crab from CrabbyPlay.com, where every crawl creates a symphony of smiles. The Sensing Crawling Crab is a toy that'll become your child's magical companion, bringing innovation and joy to their playtime. Watch as your child's eyes sparkle with wonder as this adorable crab explores, dances, and entertains. You'll see your child laugh and chase after the crawling crab. It'll give them an endless source of fun and discovery. With its adorable crawling action, this crab is cute and encourages your child to engage in playful pursuit, mesmerizing them with its charming movements. It'll stimulate your child's curiosity and cognitive development. Your child will learn cause and effect, all while having fun. The Sensing Crawling Crab has enchanting melodies and dancing movements that create a whimsical atmosphere that adds more fun to your child's adventures. It has a built-in sensing device that navigates and avoids obstacles, providing uninterrupted fun. Visit CrabbyPlay.com, CRABI, and bring home the Sensing Crawling Crab and let the magic of Krabby Play turn playtime into a lifetime of delightful memories. CrabbyPlay.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much for tuning in. All right, so we've got some updates on the Harvard president. You know, she still works at Harvard. She's no longer the president. They have maintained her employment as a professor, and her salary is over $900,000 a year. Now, $900,000 a year, if they brought back Albert Einstein from the dead and he became a professor at Harvard, he'd be worth $900,000 a year. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. What teacher,
That's insane.
short of Albert Einstein, okay, yeah. Or I'll throw in Oppenheimer, since the movies, everybody loves the movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but, you know. So if Robert Oppenheimer or Einstein came back and said, I want to be a professor at Harvard.
Or Isaac Newton.
Let's
throw him in there.
Exactly.
The great thinkers of the world.
Exactly. Socrates, you know, all these people. But I'm serious. If you had somebody like Oppenheimer or Einstein, they would be worth $900,000 a year.
Easy.
Not just because of what they did and brilliance and how smart they are, even though, you know, you may not support the bomb that ended the war, but they would also bring a lot of attention to the school. This is negative attention, and she's a fraud of an academic because she plagiarized everything.
Professors made that kind of money there.
I went in the wrong line of work. I should have stuck with the school teaching. I should have gotten gotten your PhD. You know, when I got my bachelor's degree, I did not go to graduate school for two reasons. One, my disability with foreign languages. To get a master's degree in history, you have to take you have to, at the end of that, have mastered a foreign language.
It is such a stupid requirement.
And I have like a learning disability when it comes to foreign languages.
That's true.
I barely got through college. Kathy got me through college. I would not have, because of the foreign language
Just the
requirement.
foreign language. That's it.
I was an honors student. I graduated with honors, and it took my entire. I took Spanish, French, German multiple times. Finally, you had to take 2 semesters of it. So my first thought was, how am I going to – I barely got through Spanish 1101 and 1102. How am I going to do 1103 and 4 and then do a test of proficiency? And then to go on to a PhD, you have to be fluent. And it was impossible for me. On top of the fact, I thought, well, even if I got a master's or a PhD, would I be able to get a job that would pay me enough money to justify that? And now
apparently she does.
$900,000. I'd have to become a critical race theorist
and be a black woman,
and I could just copy and paste other people's work.
Yeah.
And
see, in the liberal world, Brian, cheating gets rewarded.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, in the liberal world, that's everything. It's bizarro world. Everything is backwards. You know what I mean? The honor and honor means nothing to these people. They're all scum.
The thing about it is, when you think about it, okay, paying her $900,000 a year, keeping her on as a professor, after her entire academic career was plagiarized, she should, in fact, if things were done properly, her degrees would be taken from her. Isn't there a way for people to take back degrees?
This tells me that I think there is. I don't know. This tells
There's
me
gotta
that
be a
these
way.
Ivy League schools, and I don't mean to sound like a nut, these Ivy League schools seem like they're just arms of the government, and they're brainwashing camps. And the professors...
They're part of the deep state.
The professors spew what the government wants them to spew, and they pay them a lot of money, so they'll do it and they'll stay.
Like the people on TV. Yeah, the TV news people.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. These are not free-thinking colleges. These are brainwashing camps.
Yeah, that's exactly
because the people that go to these schools end up becoming leaders and judges and lawyers and big
presidents.
Important people and governors and things.
Yeah.
So, that's where they want to focus their attention on. Not at FAU or FSU. That's why there was no politics when we were in school, because we were too lowly on the totem pole, I guess.
Yeah.
When you go to regular public college.
Mika Brzezinski on Morning Joe this week, or this morning, had on a woman named Mara Gay, who was talking about Claudine Gay. And Mara Gay, I don't know if they're related or married, I don't know, but she's with the New York Times. And she was talking about what happened to the president of Harvard.
The thing that really disturbs me is the unrelenting campaign from the right and from some conservative activists to slander, discredit, and ultimately, I guess, somebody used the phrase, we've claimed a scalp, I think, on social media.
Oh, God.
To essentially unseat Gay and other presidents as well, when they don't like, not just the handling of the horrific attacks on Israel on October 7th, the way that was handled on campus, but really anything else that they don't like about not just these presidents, but actually what they would call wokeism.
Okay. Now, what these professors or what these presidents did was say it was okay to advocate for the genocide of Jews. That's the incitement of violence, talking about wiping out a gene pool. But that's not why they took the presidency away from her and just made her a lowly professor at $900,000 a year. It's because of the plagiarism.
On campus. Mm-hmm. So this is really an attack on academic freedom. It's an attack on people who are pluralists and believe that you should bring people from all over the world together.
I don't know. She is talking out of her ass. I'm sorry.
Every bit of her graduate work was plagiarized. That's theft. She's a fraud.
This is a woman who stole other people's work, other people's thoughts,
research,
and took it as her own.
Passed it off as her own.
What does this woman not? She's only defending her because she's a black woman. That's all it is. If she was a white man, she would not be. She'd be like, good riddance.
Maybe, yeah.
Of
diverse
course.
Backgrounds, and that you actually have more scholarly rigor and more
what
value
a nut.
can be brought by having people from different backgrounds. This is an attack on diversity. This is an attack on multiculturalism and on many of the values that a lot of us hold dear. And in fact, anybody really who is around my age in their 30s who went to any major public university or private university in this country, these are values that are very important.
What, plagiarizing?
And I think that's why these presidents are under attack. That's why Clouding Gay was under attack. The fact that she's a black woman and the first person who is a black American to lead Harvard only added.
Has nothing to do with it. She probably defended Jussie Smollett too.
Dethrone her. And, those attacks, I don't have to say that they're racist because you can hear and see the racism in the attacks when people like Vivek Ramaswamy say, okay, this is the problem about diversity and hiring. I mean, this is racism as well. So there's a lot of different layers here, but I don't want to miss the attacks on academic freedom.
And of course, Mika doesn't challenge her and say, say you don't have a problem with her plagiarizing all these things? Or if she was a white man, would you be defending it? No.
We were talking about this yesterday on yesterday's podcast, and calling for the extermination of any group of people is beyond decency, beyond the free. It's incitement of violence, which you do not have the freedom of speech to do. And now all this plagiarism. There must be a process where universities can strip you of your degrees if you've been shown to have committed fraud in getting them.
How does somebody rationalize at that level? And I asked you this the other day, who's worse, her or Elizabeth Warren? And you said, well, what's the connection? I said, well, they both perpetrated a fraud at Harvard to get their jobs. Yeah. Elizabeth Warren pretended to be an Indian.
And by the way, Elizabeth
and this
Warren,
woman pretended to be an academic scholar.
Okay, Elizabeth Warren passed herself off as an Indian fraudulently so that she could be considered a diversity hire.
Yes.
And there are fewer Native American Indians in anything than any other ethnic group. There are not very many, like 1% in most things, And so she lied about her ethnicity, which she's committed fraud.
Absolutely.
She committed fraud for her employment, the same as that Rachel woman that was white and passed herself off as black to head up the NAACP. Elizabeth Warren did the same thing.
And this woman perpetrated a fraud.
Yeah.
Harvard's got problems. I mean, if I had a kid there, I'd be, spending $100,000 a year. I'd be pretty pissed right now.
I think you just need to send your kids to vocational school and let them learn a skill.
Or just a regular state college.
Yeah.
That's
not
a
in the
quarter
north,
of the price.
Not in the north, in Florida, right? Like Florida State University or something like that. Right now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, guys. And those of you that have newly become Patreons, and that is very, very much, we want to say thank you to all the Patreons and our new Patreons. And your support does help us out a lot. And don't forget, Patreon supporters have commercial-free edition access to all of our podcast episodes on our podcast page. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you'll hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Mike P, Macho, Wesley, Nick, Rick, Carlos, Paulette, John, ActicFox, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, and Shawna. Thanks so much, guys, for your support. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this episode on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Well, we're out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll talk to you next time.